Okay, thank you for joining our presentation. So we are going to talk about students' perception of using a hypervideo annotation tool for video discussions in online learning environment. I'm Daeyeoul, an instructional designer, and Heeyoung Kim is a director of faculty development in the Teaching and Learning Center at Rider University. So today we are going to talk about Rider University and why we implemented hypervideo annotation tool, and then what hypervideo annotation is and what are the benefits of using those tools. And we conducted pilot study, and then after that we are going to talk about result and lessons learned. So Heeyoung will address Riders and Teaching and Learning Center and some online instructions at Rider University.
Okay, hello everyone, and it's nice that actually we're introducing new tools that related to also the video presentation, and it's really tied together, and we hope that we can provide another tools that you can think about it in your teaching or as an educational developer helping other faculty to do their job. So Rider University we are located in New Jersey, and we have about 4,000 undergraduate students, and Teaching and Learning Center, we are housed in the Teaching and Learning Science Building. And next page there. So we started first online class in 2006. I mean, we are a residential liberal arts university, but we started exploring online course and distance education 2006, and we have a 6 undergraduate fully online degree program and 10 online master's program. And even this past springtime, we have about 300 sections offered fully online course. It's not the remote instruction that we did during the COVID time. So we've been always Teaching and Learning Center support faculty member with the distance learning and also the online education. So we've been always looking forward to explore other ways helping to student engagement and student success. So this is one of the tools that we implemented, and we got some great ideas. So that's what we want to share. So it's a great segue that from the first presenter about video presentation, and I love students recording their presentation in my class too. So in written text form or their research paper, student to student or the faculty to give student feedback, we're able to do this kind of annotation. But what are we going to do in the video production? How are we going to be able to give the annotation or feedback right on there in the 2-minute mark instead of at the end in the written comment or faculty recording with their feedback? So other ways you can do cheap ways, but there are tools that actually you can do the annotation. So the term is a hyper annotation we're using from the research, and that's what we're going to provide you the information. Okay.
So let me explain what the hypervideo annotation is. So some of you might not be familiar with this term. So we use this term from the research articles. So the hypervideo is a non-linear video that provide hyperlink, index, and summary functions beyond the basic functions such as play, pause, and stop. So you can simply think hypervideo as an interactive video. Hypervideo annotation include individual notes in video and collaborative annotations in the form of replies and comments. So this screenshot shows hypervideo annotation. As you can see, while watching this video, students can add comment, and they can also reply to peers' comments. They can add sentiment like question mark, and then they can also share external link to YouTube video with others, and they can also like their peers' comment. In addition, students can also take their personal notes, and they can also download the notes from this tool. So interaction through hypervideo annotations are essentially different from commenting in discussion board in LMS, in that the annotating is conducted during rather than after studying while watching videos. So there are benefits of using this hypervideo annotation. Before we delve into the advantages of this innovative approach, let's take a moment to understand the traditional video-based learning method and challenges that it poses for students. In traditional video-based learning, teachers often upload instructional videos for students to watch. While videos can be an effective tool for delivering information, they come with their own set of challenges. One of the main issues with traditional video-based learning is the lack of students' engagement. It is common for students to lose their focus while watching videos. Instead of actively engaging with the content, students may become disinterested, leading them to seek distractions. Some students might find themselves falling into the temptation of Googling unrelated to topics, and or even worse, dozing off during the video. These distractions hinder the learning process. That's where the hypervideo annotation come in a powerful solution. One of the significant benefits of using hypervideo annotation is promoting active learning. With traditional videos, students often passively watch the content without actively engaging with it. However, hypervideo annotations provide opportunities for active participation. By incorporating interactive elements like questions within the video, students can actively respond and provide answers. This not only encourages critical thinking and problem-solving skills, but also reinforces comprehension and retention of the material. Active learning promotes a deeper understanding of the concepts, as students are required to think, analyze, and apply their knowledge in real time. It shifts the focus from being a passive viewer to an active participation in the learning process, fostering a more meaningful educational experience. So hypervideo annotations also go beyond traditional videos by promoting 3 types of interaction that greatly enhance the learning experience. The first type of interaction is learner-to-content interaction. With hypervideo annotations, students can engage with the video content in a more active and personalized manner. They can click on annotations, access additional information, explore related resources, or even navigate to specific sections based on their learning needs. This level of interaction empowers students to take control of their learning journey. The second type of interaction is learner-to-learner interaction. Hypervideo annotations facilitate collaboration and discussion among students. They can share their thoughts, ideas, and perspective on the video content by replying to others. Lastly, hypervideo annotation also promote learner-to-teacher interaction. Educators can use annotations to provide additional explanations as thought-provoking questions or give feedback directly within the video. By promoting these 3 types of interaction, hypervideo annotations transform the learning process into a dynamic and engaging experience. So the Heeyoung will explain our course that we conducted, the pilot course.
So the course is in the sports management, and the course title was Contemporary Issues in Sports Management. And we did collect some student feedback data in 2021, and the major topic of the using this method was a race in sports, and the enrollment of the course was 24 students, and the response rate was the 50%. About 12 students responded to the survey that we asked. And the tool we use, it's called the Annotation. Then it's a part of the Kaltura streaming management, storage and management system. It comes with a Kaltura. We didn't have to pay additional service fee, but Kaltura is the service-based, the fee-based subscription service. So if you go to the next page. So the topic was a race and sport, and the professor was using the same documentary, asking students to watch it and then give them a prompt to discuss about it. So use our LMS is a canvas, and the exact same thing, give the same prompt, use the same video. So the left side is the text-based, the previous version, and the new format was we are providing same prompt, but the discussion prompt was also embedded into the documentary. So professor was able to pinpoint the minute or second that you need to discuss this question, and then students were responding to those prompts within the video, so they can actually annotate those. Okay. So here, as you can see, so LR is a professor's initial, and she gave them a prompt. I don't know if you can see, but there are many responses, so like 18, 20 responses based on her prompt. So in this light gray, the time strip line, that's where the annotation is happening. So student will know if there is a little bars there, that means that some discussion is going on. So, okay. Okay, another sample of the screenshot. Okay.
So we conducted three open-ended survey questions to our students who participate in Onoto video discussion activity. So these are three open-ended questions that we developed and implemented. So these three questions focus on how hyper video annotation improves students' knowledge, skills acquisition, motivation, and engagement. So we analyzed students' responses, and we coded our students' responses, and we found 6 general codes. So the first code was questions related to video content provided in Onoto, help students better understand the material, motivate them to watch the whole video, and better engage in a video. So the students commonly mention about questions related to video content in small parts of the videos. And they also mention providing interesting questions in the video, which help them engage with the video content. These are the students' quotes. As you can see, since the videos had questions to answer, it motivated me to really understand the materials. And the second quote was interesting and easy documentary videos help students motivate themselves to complete watching a video. As you can see, the content was very interesting, where I felt motivated to watch the videos. So they perceive the documentary film as the interesting video. And third quote was interaction with classmates while watching a video helps students develop ideas and get different perspective from their classmate. As you can see, being able to interact with the class while watching the video helped me from ideas and join along in the discussion. The next quote was being able to see classmates' responses while watching a video helps students better construct knowledge and keep them engaged. So they can see how other students interpret the video content in that tool. And the next quote was comment function in Onoto helps students engage with the video. It allows students to interact with classmates, an instructor, and video content, which improves students' engagement. As I explained before, this Onoto helps promote 3 types of interactions. And the last quote was, it didn't work for some students. So the one students mentioned that Onoto did not change the students' motivation and acquisition of knowledge and skills. So these students mentioned that no change really, and it didn't really change my motivation. So here are some lessons that we learned from our data. So first, hypervideo annotations can promote 3 types of interaction, which ultimately improves students' engagement. And the second, using the interesting documentary film for video discussions. So as Heeyoung explained, the instructor provide that the video discussion activities into text-based, and this time, the video discussion activities and students mentioned that the documentary film was interesting. So we recommend using some documentary film or some interesting videos for the hypervideo annotation activity. And last lesson was we need to design some prompt questions and provide more than one question throughout the video. For example, questions about specific aspect of the textbook, such as the quotation, and ask our students for their interpretation and analysis by relating to video content. We can also ask students to guess and explain their reasonings, so focusing why, and then ask our students to explain their reasonings. So that's all in our presentation. And if you guys have any questions, we would be happy to answer the questions.
I have a question, and the irony that I was going to type this into the chat while I was listening to you and then ask this question is not lost on me. So I would like to state that for the record. But I love the idea of promoting more robust student engagement with the materials that we're presenting, especially asynchronous materials like videos. At the same time, I worry that sometimes we're teaching ourselves and them to splinter their attention by watching a video and responding at the same time. Any thoughts on that? I know that's it's something that we're thinking about, but what are your thoughts on that, if any?
Do you have anything there? Do you want me to?
Yeah, actually, I would like to talk about the functions. So like while watching videos, and if you want to add any comment, you just click on the comment, the space, and it will automatically pause. So you don't need to worry about losing any video content while typing in the comment section.
And Megan, also, we can think about different ways of implementing, promoting media and how students could engage. But this is actually faculty want student to see the documentary. Usually documentary is at least like 60 minutes. And as we all know, like Emily would know, student attention limit of the watching video is like 7 minutes. I think it went down less than 7 minutes. So asking student to watch a 60-minute documentary, if they're not interested in topic, is going to be very hard. But so based on those feedback, faculty have seen that student actually kind of misses some part, they're fast forwarding. So guiding them to do not miss the specific portion of the documentary was important for this faculty member. But I understand your question and then concern. And if we're just targeting to specific like format or area that they were going through, but I think the faculty had like they are mentioned that the discussion prompt, they have to actually watch the documentary prior to the mark of the commenting, and also use the other course resources, the reading list that actually incorporate with it. So I think it worked well in this class, but this actual module, but yes, that's the really good concern. So we always have to think about it. Thank you for the question.
So I had a question. I'm a big fan of the text annotation tool Hypothesis. But one of the things that I've learned with it is that depending on lots of factors, it doesn't always scale well. A large group, and by large, I think I mean somewhere in the neighborhood of 20, 25 people annotating maybe a too short article, and without clear enough prompts, quickly got very chaotic. And I'm wondering I'm kind of wondering about scaling generally with this tool and how it works when you've got multiple people adding annotations, or is that handled by providing very explicit prompts for the students to go to?
This faculty was providing explicit prompt, and I know that I used the hypothesis before with our faculty member. Because of the audience was student or audience was a faculty member, I had a very engaging conversation with the faculty, with like 15 faculty member. It actually enlightened the conversation with the faculty member, but I understand student, there are different levels, and I know that we tend to have a discussion that with the fully online class. So student actually lurking to other students' answers, posting, and also modifying their answer to providing their answer. So yeah, it could be, but luckily, yes, I know 20 is a lot, but this class was 24 students, and we used to have a online class of 15 student cap. So for our faculty member trying to actually maximize a small enrollment of a class and trying to use those kind of tools. But again, at the end, it's a kind of instructional design that we don't want to give the student prompt that has a simple answer. So students have to think about and then also use their personal experience, incorporate with the other reading material or text-based material. In that way, everybody provide a different answer instead of the one answer. So it's always going back to assignment designs. Like if you well design the assignment, again, no matter what approach you were using, any venue providing to student to responding, it will always going to be helpful. So that's what I learned from the hearing from students, because a couple of students said, yeah, it didn't change me because I understood and I can do either way.